Here is how to actually make your first film with AI from someone who has 8 years of experience with enterprise automation and a master's degree in computer science with a focus in AI. In this video, I will cover the process, the prompts, the cost, and ways to improve your AI films. I'm making this video before I release the AI film I created so that you get an unbiased raw view of the process I use before getting any feedback from the internet. By the end of this video, you will understand the AI filmmaking process that I used so you can take it and iterate on it and make it your own. I'm intentionally not getting into the technicals or the overly technical parts of this process because those are extremely likely to change, but the principles should last longer. So let's get into it. How to make your first AI film, full guide. So idea generation. So my goal when setting out to do this was to create a film for myself. One worry I have been having lately is that I don't know what we will do if AI automation becomes advanced enough to cause mass job displacement. I haven't seen any solid solutions to this problem so far, so I wanted to create a film to explore the problem. Next, I did research. So research on the content. So I used Manus, the AI agent, to do this research. Okay, that's a little weirdly worded, but essentially it's, can you do research on what the world would look like if everyone loses their jobs to AI? That's what I meant. And it created a job displacement report PDF. So that contains all the research on what the world would look like. So then, in order to create the script in a certain way, I looked up the greatest authors of all time, and I found Ernest Hemingway. So the reason I liked Ernest Hemingway is because his style is simple dialogue and understated emotion so that the reader, the viewer, kind of fills that in for themselves. Next is script writing. So I used Claude Sonnet 4 model, and the first prompt is, can you write like Ernest Hemingway? It said, yeah. So then I said, can you write a story in that style using the attached research? So it's the job displacement report PDF that Manus created as extra context when writing the story. So the first story it came up with was called The Last Day. I read the doc and thought it could be better, and I had a new idea. So I essentially created this whole prompt, which is pretty much the entire story in a really brief way of what ended up being the actual film. So it's create another story starring a reporter. She signs a new contract without really reading it. She is talking about the layoffs due to AI. Show 3 different reports. Then her manager says they are replacing her with AI. She's at home, unemployed, watching TV when the news station she used to work at comes on. She sees herself giving a news report. She calls her former manager on the phone, irate. She says she did not consent to this. It was completely illegal, and they would be hearing from her lawyer. The manager coldly states that this was a clause in the contract she signed. She rifled through the papers of her home desk and finds the contract. Several pages deep, she sees the small print text, give news station rights to use her likeness to create an AI twin. She has a baffled face as tears swell up in her eyes. So then this was used to create the script. So essentially Claude just like slightly expanded on that and filled in all the gaps in order to make it like a fully coherent story. So then once we have the script, then we need to create prompts. First, I went to Manus again and said, can you do research on how to prompt a video model like VO3 for best results? Then, can you build templates for complex prompts for video models like VO3 or Kling 2.1 that get viral results? So it came out with this prompting best practices PDF. Now that we have the best practices, we can generate the scenes. So I use ChatGPT o3 to generate the scenes. This is a reasoning model. And I did that because I think it's like a slightly more complex task to like break a script into like 15 scenes and create a prompt for each that actually works. The prompt is, I have a script I want to be broken down into 5 or 10 second scenes / clips. This is so that I can feed it into a Kling 2.1 image to video model, decide which clips make sense as 5-second clips and which clips make sense as 10-second clips. Each scene / clip needs its own video prompt. Use the attached PDF to understand what I want from the video prompt. Your prompt should include the basic and advanced video prompt elements and also include a negative prompt. Assume I am passing in images of the characters that appear within the video prompt while sending in the video prompt to the Kling API. The classifier free guidance scale will be set to 0.5 unless you specify otherwise for a specific clip. Below is the script, and then I put the whole script in. Prompt. Can you make the negative prompt have its own column? So that was because I didn't specify like the output format that I wanted for the prompts, so you could combine those. But yeah, then you put those in a spreadsheet, and those are the scenes. The prompts for the scenes. So next is the character prompts. So again, I used ChatGPT 03. I passed in the prompting best practices PDF, and I said, I have a script for a short film. I want you to create image prompts for each character using the attached prompt guidelines. Use all basic and advanced image prompt elements, and in a separate column, include a negative prompt. Below is the script. Pass the script, and then I get the fine print characters spreadsheet. Okay, so then now that we have the prompts for the characters and the prompts for the scenes, we're ready to do the image generation. So first we generate the character portraits. So I used Leonardo.ai, specifically the Leonardo Keynote XL model. I passed in the prompts for the characters, and then I got out some character images. So make sure these images are hosted at a URL that is accessible by your automation. So in my case, I'm using automation to generate the video. So I need like to pass in a URL or use a URL to pull the image into the automation so that it's accessible. So this is the node in the automation that is actually generating the video. You can see the URL to image to video right here. The inputs are the prompt, which is like what's going on in the scene. The image URL, so it's actually expecting the URL for that like first frame of the scene, the duration of the scene, and then the negative prompt. Anyway, here we go. Next one, create video generation input. So I used N8N like I just showed you like a couple seconds ago. I'm passing in the scene prompt from the scene spreadsheet, and then the character images. And then I have some filtering to be like, okay, for scene 5, who is in this scene? It is these 2 characters or this 1 character. So if it's multiple characters, we use this multi-context model. And if it's a single character, we use a single model. So the difference is essentially like this one allows multiple inputs. This one only allows 1 input. So then we use the character portraits in the scene description to generate image for the first frame of the scene. And then we get that first frame. So then when we're ready to do video generation. So we pass in that first frame of the scene and then the scene prompt. And we pass that into Kling 2.1. image to video, and that gives us a MP4 file, 5 seconds to 10 seconds, about whatever this prompt was starting at this scene. The issue is it doesn't include audio. So my solution to this was I did audio generation with Chatterbox TTS server. TTS stands for text to speech. So I have the script, I pass essentially just the snippets of the dialogue depending on the character, and I just manually selected a voice and got a WAV file out. So then that's your audio. So then I edited the video manually in Lightworks. And then for me, since I'm doing this for YouTube, I needed a thumbnail. So I used ChatGPT 03 to do research on like the text in the thumbnail image. And I said, can you do research on the text attributes that are the most viral on long-form YouTube thumbnails? I want you to then write a short description of the top 5 most viral text attributes on long-form YouTube thumbnails. So example, bold text covering the top in white and orange. So then it says, okay, gives me some research. And then I said, create 5 different 1 to 4 word micro hooks for the following story. And then I pass in the script, and then I get a hook. So then to create the thumbnail, I pass in the hook, and I pass in essentially like the character description of the main character into this website called Pictly, got out a thumbnail. The issue though is that I'm just describing the character. I'm not saying like this is what the character looks like. It's going to generate like an image of a person that's very similar, but not the main character. So that creates a problem for me. I want it to be the actual main character in the story. So then I need to do a face swap. So I used ChatGPT 03 again, which I didn't know that this was possible. I just tried it and then it ended up working. So I said, can you do a face swap for me? It said yes. So then I pass in the character image and say, this is the source face. And then I pass in the thumbnail and said, this is the target image. The source face should be modified to fit into the style of the target image. There are two faces in the target image. The source face should replace the frontmost face of the reporter only. The image aspect ratio must stay the same at 16:9. So it created an image, and it actually worked. It put the main character's face in the thumbnail, which was awesome. But this was way too big to actually be accepted as a thumbnail by YouTube. It was like just way over the 2 megabyte limit. So then I needed to resize the thumbnail. So I just had ChatGPT generate me some Python code to like compress the image a little bit so that it was, I think it's 1280 by 720 pixels and under 2 megabytes in space, and that worked. Came out with a smaller image, and that became the thumbnail. So that is the process: idea generation, research, script writing, prompt generation, image generation, video generation, audio generation, video editing, thumbnail. So next, the cost. So this context model was used when there was a single character in the scene. So I generated 12 of those. That cost me 48 cents. This context max multi was used when the scene contained multiple characters, and that cost 72 cents. And then the image to video was the Kling 2.1 model. That cost me $32.76. Then the tools I used were, I used N8N Cloud, which cost me $24 a month because I'm just on the month-to-month plan. I don't think you need to use N8N. N8N is super cool, but it's not necessary in order to create this thing. You do all this for free in Python. You could probably have a large ChatGPT, Claude, whoever, generate you the workflow that I used, or a workflow that's better. Leonardo and Python, Manus, I'm on the free tier. Chatterbox TTS, free tier. Python, I'm just running locally, so yeah, that's why that's free. I pay for ChatGPT Pro. That I don't think 03 is available on the free. I don't actually know. But yeah, I'm just using a reasoning model for like generating the scenes and stuff. I'm sure there's ways around that you can do that for free, so this wouldn't be necessary. And if you know how to make thumbnails, you don't have to generate them with AI like I did. Claude, I'm on the free tier. So then overall, the totals, models cost $33.96. The tools cost $49. So the total is $82.86 for me and my workflow. You could do this for closer to just the models. Okay, so then last part, how do we improve this process? Idea generation process. I only came up with ideas in my head. I think if I'm going to do that, you just need to generate more. I think everyone's goal on social media, so that's what this film was made for, is to get views. So creating ideas that are more potential to go viral is important, and creating many of those and then filtering to like just the best one. That's super important. You can also use Google Trends, Google News to find more ideas about things people are currently interested in. You can use large language models to help you generate ideas. You can create like a prompting best practices, guidelines, whatever script, PDF to pass in when you're generating ideas to like help better guide it and help improve results. So yeah, that's how you'd improve that piece. For doing research, you have like research on the idea, research on the thumbnail, research on the content. That's all important. You can improve the writing style. So instead of using like an author for a book, I'm not writing a book, I'm making a YouTube short film. You can do reference like really successful YouTubers and try to emulate their style. You can reference really great TV shows or films and try to use their style. That'd be the way to improve that. Essentially, you're just getting more focused on like what actually works in the place where you're publishing this film. So then script writing, Compare and track scripts performance between models. So that's essentially like, how do you pick the model who writes the best script? Optimizing for best script writing model and script writing prompt. Again, you can make some like best practices guidelines for that you can pass in to be like, this is how you write a story that actually goes viral, and then it'll like probably do better. Next, what is this? Prompt generation. So create prompting best practices that are super focused to each task and pass the document containing those into the model. The reason I said that is because even though I did create this prompting best practices for the scenes, I'm generating stuff for video models, and this prompting best practices PDF includes how to generate images and how to generate videos. So I should split that up. So I have a PDF that's specifically only about video generation for the video generation piece, and a prompt that's specifically just about image generation for the image generation piece. So then for image generation, create this first frame ahead of time. So I was just creating it like right before generating the video. I think that is inefficient. I think you could just batch all these together, create all the first frame videos. They're all hosted at a URL, and then you just reference those when generating the videos, and that'd make your, at least from the automation perspective, make it go way faster. And I didn't do that, but yeah, do this ahead of time. So then video generation, thought it was okay. You know, there's probably some ways to improve the prompts. That's the main thing. I could try different models. VO3, C-Dance, or Midjourney are all really promising looking models. It'd be nice to get a model that actually includes audio and find a way to like have a consistent character in there. I'd also like be able to pass in, so the next step is audio, but it'd be nice to be able to pass in also like first frame, what you're going to do in the frame, and the audio of the person actually talking, so that they can just mix it in together with that. Yeah. And like lip sync it up. Audio generation, the fine print document script is passed into Chatterbox TTS server. So that looks like this. It's just running locally, and I'm just generating the WAV file for the audio. It's possible to do this voice cloning if you pass in like an audio prompt. So that would be super cool. Could create custom music with the audio models as well. And also the way my video turned out, the lip syncing is really bad. It's just kind of like some audio playing in the background and some people like going or whatever. So yeah, it looks terrible, but it is okay. It's okay to be terrible when you're learning. But the way you improve it is you do some lip syncing. So then video editing, do some sort of AI video editing. I'm pretty sure there's some things to do that. I haven't tried them out, but I need to look into those because that would save me a ton of time, and I don't know. I'm so bad at editing, it'd probably be better. So last thing, thumbnails. I think creating the thumbnail earlier in the process and spending more time on it would be good. Making it part of idea validation. So like that's essentially like generating your ideas, and then like, you know, title, thumbnail, and then if the idea is good and the thumbnail is good and it just looks like an absolute banger, then actually spend time doing more research to create the script, yada yada, go on and generate the video. So yep, that is it. I will put a link to the video that I generated down in the description. I'm not going to post it on this channel. I'm going to post it on a different channel. So the whole point of this is to explore the problem with AI taking everybody's jobs, explore like what that world looks like, and then try to show, not tell people about, show them like things we can do through these AI generated videos, show them there is a different future that's possible. And yeah, it doesn't have to suck ass. So that's it. Like and subscribe. And okay, goddamn timer. Hello. I just recorded this entire video and found out the audio wasn't pointed to my mic. So none of it worked. I have to redo the entire thing. Here we go.